Special meeting of August 19, 2020 is called to order at 7:05. How's that? Okay, perfect. All right. Purpose of the special meeting. Purpose of the special meeting is to conduct a public hearing regarding the school opening plan. And we'll go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you. So thank you for everybody who's attended virtually tonight. And we just want to take this opportunity to explain a little more about our opening of school plan and to give parents and students the opportunity to ask us questions and or to provide us insight. So although we are trying to think of everything, obviously we cannot think of everything. So our plan is just to walk through the high points of a typical day this coming school year, although none will be typical. So we'll walk through the high points, starting from the beginning of the day all the way through to the end of the day. And summaries, we'll just summarize. Then we'll also pause occasionally and ask if anybody has any questions. So if anybody wants to participate through the Google's Meets and ask questions through Google Meets, they can just please email Tiffany Lopez, tlopez@brookfieldcsd.org, and she can send you right back a link. The other opportunity is I think we're live streaming, and I believe you can call in to Tiffany also and ask questions, correct?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you very much. We'll get started. So here's where we are. We had an all-department meeting today. And what we've been doing to plan for this upcoming school year is we broke the entire school operations down in certain areas and by department. And every department had responsibilities basically to figure it out. And we've been working closely together. Some people obviously have sat in every department meeting. Others have been on an as needed basis, but this was the first time where everybody sat together and walked through basically every aspect of the operations in their department. And I think it went really, really well. It took us almost 4 hours to have that conversation this morning. But I walked away from it, and I think the other people did also, walking away from it thinking that we feel we have an excellent platform for opening the school in September, but we also know that we need to continue to refine that platform between now and the beginning of the school day for our children. And we really brainstormed and really played devil's advocate in today's meeting, and we've been doing that in our department meetings all along, just so that we can make sure we get it right. So again, we feel we have an excellent platform. We know we're going to just continue to refine it, make it better. And as conditions change, we will change. And we know conditions are going to change. And as we learn more, we will, from experience, we will change and get better. So let's start out at the beginning of the school day. Now, just the beginning of the day, not the beginning of the school day, the beginning of the day. So the beginning of the day for students and employees is going to begin with a health screening. Employees will have a health screening that occurs every day at home, and including the temperature check. And we have through BOCES a software program that is supposed to be online prior to the first day of school, where employees will report in the results of their health screening. And we will review that health screening every morning prior to anybody coming to the building. And we will react accordingly. So in addition, that same software program provided by BOCES, the goal is to have that uploaded so parents and students can access that from home prior to the beginning of the school day. Prior to the school bus arriving at your home, or prior to your students leaving for school, no matter how they get here. So that screening on a daily basis, the temperature of the students will have to be taken by someone at home. On Mondays, the full formal health screening process will be done using the software by students every Monday morning. So what that full health screening process entails is, one, a temperature check, and was the student's temperature above 100.4 or below? So it's a yes or no. Was it above 100.4? Above 100.4, they can't come to school. You answer the question. We become aware of the situation, and you call your primary healthcare provider. Okay, the other questions on the screening is the standard questions you're seeing when you're going to the doctor's office, et cetera. Do you have symptoms? Does the student have symptoms? Has anybody in the family been diagnosed, et cetera, et cetera? We'll be providing that information shortly, but I'm sure most people have seen that already. Okay, students get on the bus. Students come to school. The buses are, bus routes are set right now so that all the students on the bus will be socially distanced by families. So the first student that gets on a bus in the morning goes to the back seat of the bus. The next students that come, they will go to the next appropriate seat. There will be spacing between the seatings. The seats will be identified until the bus is filled and comes to school. There's not going to be a lot of students on these buses, and it's going to be pretty easy to socially distance them. So now, when they're on the bus, they'll have to keep their mask on. And I also need to add, these bus routes are going to be shorter than normal. They're going to be spending less time on the school buses than normal. Our transportation department has done a heck of a job figuring this out, and it looks like it's going to work very nicely. And thank you to the many parents who have said that they're going to transport their children, because that has made all this possible also. Moving on. School buses arrive here at a predetermined time at the school in the bus circle. They pull all the way to the front of the bus circle. Parents' vehicles will not be allowed in the bus circle at that time. Once the buses are here, we're assuming the parents will start to line up as they have in previous years. And we started getting a lot better at this last year. They'll start to line up on Fairground Road where they did last year for drop off and eventually for pickup at dismissal. The buses come into bus circle, BCS staff hops on a bus and temperature checks as a double check all the students. As a student gets their temperature checked, the student, if below 100.4, the student walks off the bus, proceeds into the school. We've got predetermined routes for the students to come into the school, and that the bus empties out that way. If the student is over 100.4, the school nurse takes over and follows the protocols established in regards to that. So now all the buses are empty. The buses leave the bus circle. Once that fourth school bus leaves the bus circle, parents who are transporting their children will then be allowed into the bus circle. So there will be staff members that take students' temperatures in the bus circle. So the first car pulls in, and these vehicles need to pull in single file. They can't pull in like we have allowed in previous years, where we have a group of cars on the right side of the bus circle and another line of cars on the left side of the bus circle. That will not work. So people need to, we're going to get some t-shirts and say, it's a pandemic, everybody please be patient. Because we're learning about being patient lately. So the first car pulls up to where the staff member is standing right in front of our courtyard here. The second vehicle pulls up behind that. All students stay in the vehicle. Now, the first vehicle, the students exit the vehicle. They get their temperature checked. Everything's under 100.4. They proceed into the building. The vehicle, the staff member then tells that vehicle they're able to leave. Second vehicle pulls up. Students get out. They get their temperature checked. Let's say the student is over 100.4. This is why the vehicle needs to wait. If it's under 100, over 100.4, the student is going to have to get back in the vehicle, and the parent or whoever's transporting is going to have to take the student home and make arrangements with the primary care provider. We know there are going to be couples in this process. We know there are going to be challenges in this process, but we've got to work together in order to keep this environment as safe as possible for our entire Brookfield community. And we do think we have established a very safe environment following all the recommendations and designing systems that follow the recommendations made by our health professionals. Okay, so I believe, so that is, those vehicles leave the bus circle. Vehicles behind them just continue to pull up, a lot like going to the state fair where you're waiting to get into the parking lot. We just pull up and we proceed in an orderly manner. So we're going to follow this process for a few days. We'll constantly be reevaluating it, and as we will constantly be reevaluating every process. And if there's a better way to do it, we'll switch it up. All right, let's see. Now we have the kids in the building. I'm going to pause and ask Ms. Lopez to see if there's anybody out there with any questions at this time.
We'll give them a couple seconds.
Yep.
Caller ending in 10, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yep. Caller ending in 64, any questions?
No, not yet. Thank you.
What are you gonna do about students that drive themselves, that park down below?
Yep. So it's on my list, but I'm not seeing it. So the question was, okay, so the question is, what are we doing about student drivers and walkers? So student drivers and walkers will come up the sidewalk as they arrive. And there will be another staff member who is taking their temperature out by the front entrance also. So we're small enough and our students are very well behaved. It's a great bunch. So once they get their temperature checked by another staff member, they will proceed to come along behind the students whose parents are dropping them off. They'll stay socially distanced, even though they have their mask on. We'll still have them stay socially distanced. They will come up the ramp toward the gymnasium entrance. They will then turn right, as all students are going to go in this entrance this year, and walk past these library windows to the ramp entrance door by the technology room. They will then go in the building that way. We know, we're confident that with the walkers and the drivers, and just the way our students are, a very polite group, this will work, and they'll be patient and maintain social distancing. So there's going to be a letter going out soon to parents and families that says, here are the times. Here are the times. And we're kind of going to have to try to stick to them. We're going to have to stick to the times for these arrivals and dismissals in order for this to work. We can't have, pockets of people, pockets of students standing around, but if if we work together, this will be coordinated good where it will work. Okay, any other questions?
Are we gonna have any aides on the buses, even though it's a
On the
school
school buses, there's not going to be an aid. So let's talk about the size of these school buses. I didn't bring that with me. We're looking at school buses that are going to have 8 to 10 kids on. Maybe some will have a couple more once we get rolling, but I think 8 to 10 is a real good average. Remember, we're opening the school year under the hybrid schedule, a blue day and an orange day, and Ms. Smith's going to talk about that in a little while. All right, so the students now are entering the building. As they enter the building, all students will be turning left. Yes, all students will be turning left and proceeding down that hallway. Again, socially distanced. The teachers will be standing in their doorways. There will be kiosks set up in strategic locations that are monitored. As the students go by those kiosks, their breakfast will be in a brown paper bag. They will take their breakfast and go to their classroom. So there will be, not all students will go turn left. I got to back off or turn right going towards the tech room. Students in grades kindergarten and first grade will turn left and go in the gym entrance. There'll be a kiosk right there by the first grade lockers with the breakfast, and students will grab them. The teachers will be in the hall. They'll go into their classroom. So first in kindergarten, first grade will turn left. Other grades will turn right and go in the entrance by the tech room. They come in the hallway, they turn left. Elementary students, there'll be a kiosk near their classrooms to grab their breakfasts. They will go into their classrooms. High school students will go up the stairway by the elevator. When they reach the top of that stairway, there's a common area there. There'll be kiosks there with their breakfast in bags there. They'll grab a bag and go to their classrooms. Mrs. Phillips, Ms. Smith, Mrs. Scully, I miss anything on that?
I don't believe so.
Spot on.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So then we've talked about the buses will leave the bus circle, single file, parents will drive through, accident vehicles, walkers, student drivers. We're working on the necessary modifications that will need to be made for inclement weather. We're not there yet. We know the sun's going to shine the first couple of days of school, but we'll have these modifications figured out before the first day of school. We just got to get them fine-tuned. Okay, so now we'll pause for a minute, and I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Smith, who is going to talk about the school's daily schedule and attendance. Ms. Smith?
So the students are grouped in 2 different groups, Blue Day and Orange Day. So students in the Blue Day group, they'll attend in person Monday, Wednesday, every other Friday. And Orange Day students will attend in person Tuesday, Thursday, every other Friday, opposite of our Blue Day students. So what that looks like, the first day for Orange Day students will be Tuesday, September 8th. And the first day for Blue Day students will be Wednesday, September 9th. By Friday, I will email all parents letting them know which group their student is in. And I'll also email an attachment that will have the September calendar that tells you which day is blue, which day is orange. We'll continue to send out the monthly calendars with the blue and orange days. We'll put it on our website, Facebook, and then we'll also have teachers communicate the calendar as well. When students are in the classroom, they pretty much stay in that classroom. We're calling it their home base. So what the classrooms look like, every student will be 6 feet apart. They'll be 6 feet apart from each other, and they'll be 6 feet apart from their teacher. Rather than students going to their teachers from one class to another, The students will stay in their class and the teachers will come to them. If there's a reason that a teacher or a student can't be 6 feet apart in the classroom, then their masks will have to be on. But during instruction, when they are socially distanced, students will have the opportunity to not have their mask on. Also, when students are here and in person, the campus will be closed this year. So no going to the store, the Beaver Den, things like that. And we're not allowing for food and lunches to be dropped off to students. So a little bit about attendance. It's critical that students attend school every day, and that's no matter the mode of instruction, 100% remote, hybrid, or in person. We'll take attendance daily in the morning and then for each class. And we know that there might be some times when our remote students can't log on for whatever reason, and we get that. Just we ask to make sure that's being communicated to teachers so we know what's going on and why a student wasn't able to log on remotely. And we also understand there's going to be times when students are going to be late to school, but we really need to watch out for the excessive tardies, because it not only disrupts the process of the classroom, but it will disrupt how we're taking temperatures. And so we need to really make sure that students are arriving before 8:03. And again, I just want to stress that if there's any technology issues, as we go along, as we're implementing the remote learning, to please just let us know, and we'll work with you. We also, if there are technology issues, we will be able to supply students with paper base until we can get the technology issues corrected. Any questions for me?
I got two.
I was just wondering if everyone who's on the phone can use their phones, because I'm finding it really hard to hear Ms. Smith.
Tiffany, could you repeat that question, please?
Can you repeat the question?
It wasn't a question, it was just a request that everyone who's on the phone use their phones. So I can hear someone breathing really well, and I can't hear Ms. Smith.
So if somebody's listening, I don't know, can you mute the phone? Yeah, you probably can. If you can mute your phone, if you're on the phone, that would be appreciated, please. And then if you have a question, we'll ask and you can just unmute. Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Smith?
Yes, I have two.
Go ahead.
Okay.
With the rotation of the schedule, does it, with a day off, like a superintendent's day, a snow day, whatever, it's just gonna resume for whatever day? If my kid's, gotta be there Wednesday and obviously had a snow day, then he skips Wednesday, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It'll just pick up with the next day when we return.
Don't want kids wandering around, but what about, if somebody has medications they take in the afternoon, how is that gonna work?
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
So the question was, if a student has to go to the nurse's office to take a medication, how is that process going to work?
So Mrs. Jones will coordinate with the classroom teacher, the times that students, if they're a regular student who has to go down for medicine, Mrs. Jones will coordinate with the classroom teacher. We're just asking the classroom teacher to call the nurse's office to make sure Mrs. Jones is there. If she is, then Mrs. Jones will be able to provide the medication for the student.
Okay. Thank you. And we're gonna get a letter or something telling us what group our kids are in, right?
So I will be emailing parents by Friday, what group, and then we'll have a more formal letter going home with a schedule as well.
Okay.
27.
Let me ask him. Caller 27, do you have any questions?
I don't know if I'm 27. Hi, this is Danielle Sudan. I do have a question though.
Yes, caller ending in 27, that's you.
Yes, okay. My question is my husband and I, we're both teachers, so we're not gonna depend on our sitters to log on our kids during that time. Is it gonna be an issue to view those lessons later on and do them that night with our kiddos, or is that?
Nope, so,
I'm not quite sure we're gonna be able to get them on when both of us work.
right. And we understand that. We know that, you know, there's other parents in that position, certainly. So all of the lessons will be archived so you can access them. But like I said earlier, if you know that you won't be able to log on at a certain time, just give the teacher a heads up that you'll be accessing the videos later that evening or the next day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the callers?
Okay, great. Ms. Smith, not that I wasn't paying attention, but did you discuss the visitor policy?
I discussed closed campus, but not in detail with the visitor policy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we work our way through the school day to the end of the school day. And this is how our procedures are going to go at the end of the school day. The first group of students will be dismissed, will be the students going on the school buses. So the school buses will be in the bus circle and students will be dismissed in an orderly manner so that they'll be able to be socially distanced to the school buses. I think what we decided today is that we're going to dismiss by bus number. So whatever the first bus is in the line, those students will be dismissed. There'll be a pause, a period of time. The students on the next bus in line will be dismissed. And remember, a lot of students are not on these school buses this year. So that is not going to take as long as we may think. It'll go pretty quickly. Okay, so now we have all the students who are on the school buses. The school buses leave. We then dismiss the walkers and the students who are driving. And they'll be dismissed in a way so that they can maintain social distancing. I must add, when students leave their classrooms and go to the school bus or leave the building, while they're in the hallways, they will have their mask on. Okay, so we now have the buses gone, the drivers and the walkers have proceeded to the down the sidewalks to the student parking lot. At this time, the parents have been lining up, as they did last year, on Fairground Road in front of the school. The difference is this year is that we can't have all the parents pulling in, like I said earlier, parking on both sides of the bus circle. That's not going to work. We'll have to come in a single file. We must be patient as the parent pulls up. As far as they can pull up in the bus circle, the students will be released from their classroom. Now the students leave from their classroom, they get to the parent car, the parent leaves, and other parents continue to pull in as room is provided on a single file basis. There will be somebody, a staff member in the bus circle with a school district walkie-talkie, let them know back to the classroom who can be dismissed. As we gain some experience with this, we may be able to make that more efficient, but this is our initial platform that we're starting the school year with. Okay. Any questions from anybody at that point? We now have the building empty of students. Any questions at this point? Okay, so let's talk about some miscellaneous things, and we're going to be nearing the end of tonight's presentation, tonight's discussion, but here's some miscellaneous things. Signage. So we'll have a bunch of signage in the building that emphasizes social distancing, hand hygiene, markers on the hallway floors, etc. So students and adults will be constantly reminded that social distancing is a very good way to prevent the spread of this virus. Moving on, communication, where we will continue to use our robocall, our Blackboard Connect phone call system to contact parents as needed. We're looking to upgrade or fine tune our email system as it relates to contacting parents. Therefore, in the parent survey, you were asked to provide your most current phone number and email address. That is critical. We did do a Blackboard Connect phone call to everybody the other night. I think it's probably to talk about this meeting tonight. And we had a 97 or 98% success rate of getting through to phone numbers. So that indicates that we've got 2 or 3% out there who we don't have the correct phone number for. Okay, visitors. This is the terminology that was brought up today and I think works best. It will be essential visitors only. It'll be essential business only. If we are to keep this school building safe, the traffic in the building is going to be cut to the absolute minimum. So, in our guidance that will be mailed out, there will be a section on visitors. Let's take an example. Somebody forgot their sneakers. A student forgot their sneakers. In the old days, somebody brought those sneakers in, walked into the district office, set the sneakers down, maybe visited with the office staff for 30 seconds or a couple minutes and left. This year, somebody forgets their sneakers. Correct me where I'm wrong on this, Tiffany, please. The parent or the adult brings the sneakers to the building. They hit the intercom. The door is unlocked for them. They state their business. The door is unlocked for them. There will be a table in the foyerway right there. You will set the sneakers on that table, turn around and walk out the door. You will not gain admission to the district office. Sound right?
Yeah.
Great. All right. Tiffany, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Refresh my memory though, because I know you've got it, about phoning in if somebody believes they need to visit the school.
All visits or extended time, drop-offs or pickups need to be called in first and prearranged.
Okay, this makes sense to me. It's coming back to me now, thank you. So let's say you have to pick up your student for a doctor appointment. Same old procedure where you send a note in the morning and we you say you're going to be here at 9:45, and so we let the teacher know in the morning that you're going to be here at 9:45, but we all know that sometimes that worked real well. Sometimes the student was here in the office at 9:40, but sometimes they didn't get to the office till 9:50. The student may have been off in gym class or whatever, things happen. This year, if you're coming you send a note in, I'm coming at 9:45 to get my student to take them to the doctor. Please call when you're headed this way. That way we can reduce the number of times where the student is just waiting in the office or you're waiting outside, because you're not going to come into the building and sign the student out anymore. The office staff will take care of signing the student out. The student will come to the front door. They will observe you. They will then release the student. Okay. As the year proceeds, we will get better with this. I think we'll all continue to work. I know we have a great community here. We'll work together and we'll find the smoothest way to make this work. But this is our starting platform right now. Okay, boom. Late arrivals. Well, I had kids. I know this late arrival thing, it happens. We get it. But late arrivals, when the school day is started and the children woke up late that day, and you, instead of getting them here whatever time we're going to start school this year, instead of at 7:45, then it's actually turns out to be 8:05. They'll have to wait, call ahead. The students will wait on the ramp. Someone will come out in the foyer way, allow them in, and take their temperatures. It is critical that whoever's dropping them off waits. They need to pass the temperature test before they will be allowed to come any farther into the building. If they don't pass the temperature test, what's going to work easiest is that they go right back out and go back home with you then. If you leave, these students are then going to end up going into an isolation room that we have. And it is actually last year's 3rd grade classroom that is going to be reconfigured with cots and dividers, etc., for an isolation room as the guidance from the health professionals tell us to do. But that just compounds the issue. It'd be a lot easier if they just turn around and go back out the door and you call your primary care provider. Okay, other clean and disinfection. Clean and disinfection of the school building will occur every night. It will occur mid-morning. It will occur afternoon, and then again that night. Hand hygiene. Hand hygiene, we have some portable hand washing stations that will be placed in the hallways. In addition, hand hygiene, and there will be lessons given in hand hygiene and frequently reinforced. Individual classrooms will have schedules for students to wash hands. In addition, the schedule has been, there's been time built in so the students before lunch can wash their hands, and after lunch wash their hands. Before breakfast, wash their hands. After breakfast, wash their hands. Lunches. The first 2 weeks, our goal is the first 2 weeks of the school year is going to be a standard big cold lunch. For students who will be buying their lunch here at school, those lunches will be delivered to the classrooms for the students. Mrs. Scully, correct me if I got that wrong, please.
That's correct.
Thank you. Once we get through, our goal is once we get through that 2-week period, then the lunch offerings will increase. So to include warm items that will be delivered to the classrooms. As we get better at that, we will see if we can even continue to expand the menu, but we've got to see how this works first. Okay. First, I'll turn to the school board and ask them if they have any questions at this point. Okay, Ms. Lopez?
Caller 10, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Caller ending in 27, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, thank you.
And ending in 64, any questions?
If they're gonna be, late because they overslept or anything, wouldn't it just be more convenient for you if they did their classes online that day?
We'll kick that around. Thank you for bringing that up. Ms. Smith might know the answer to that right now. Ms. Smith?
You know, my initial thought would be the students are going to benefit more if they're in the classroom learning. So, you know, we want to encourage students to be in class whenever possible, but we understand that, you know, late happens sometimes.
Okay, thank you.
So you,
No other questions?
thank you. So caller 6-4, you bring up a good point. So if a student's is only going to be 5 or 10 or 15 minutes late, Ms. Smith, I believe, is exactly right. The best possible education they can get is in that classroom. However, if the student is going to be an hour to an hour and a half late, then that's the parent's judgment, I think, at that point in time. You know how your day.
Something like an early morning appointment.
Yeah, exactly. You know how your day is going better than we do at your home. So correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Smith, but for somebody to stay home remotely would not be a big hassle for them, even though we prefer them to be here.
Right. No, that would be fine. We would just need to know so we can alert the teachers just to be on the lookout for an extra person on their remote side.
Yes, thank you. However, the spinning it the other way is not possible at this point. If somebody's scheduled for a remote day and they have to come in, given the social distancing requirements, we could not do that. Remote days, they're going to have to be remote. Good, thank you very much. Any more?
Thank you.
Any more questions from the callers?
Okay, so first I want to thank everybody who's out there and listening and asking questions. I do know texting back and forth with Mrs. Peavy upstairs, there are a number of you watching on live stream. We really appreciate you participating and listening to this, because we all need to know, the left hand needs to know what the right hand is doing in this operation, or it's not going to work. So our plan now going forward is we have a instructional staff meeting this Friday. So we will work with the instructional staff again Friday to refine our plans. We will continue to fine tune them through the next few weeks, couple weeks, few days, whatever we have left. And I don't know yet, but I think it's very, very likely that we might do this one more time before school reopens, once all of our communication is mailed to parents, etc. Just so we can make sure that we're all team here and we all need to know what's going on. But again, anytime the parent or student has a question, they can call the district office, and the staff in the district office will get their call to the person who knows how to answer their question best. Great. Thank you everyone for participating. I think we're all done with Zoom and we're all done with Google Meets, and we're going to have, well, we're not all done. We've got one resolution to pass for the school board meeting, and then the school board will be going into executive session and we'll be logging out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yep.
have one resolution. Approval of repair and safety project. Plumbing change order, results Board of Education upon recommendation, superintendent approves the repair and safety project. Plumbing change order number P3 dated July 7, 2020 for East J. Brandy, deducting $3,114 from the contingency allowance, leaving the contingency allowance balance of $0, and decreasing the contract sum $389. It is further resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the president of the board to sign the plumbing change order. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
John made a motion, Rodney.
Second.
Valerie has seconded, discussion?
So in that resolution, you see there's a typo. It should be $3,014, I believe. Okay, $3,014. So that comes out of the contingency amount for the plumbing, and that was to add an additional roof drain on the roof.
Okay, very good. No further discussion, we vote, all those in favor, so signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? So carried, thank you. Nothing else? At this point, we're going to resolve the board's education, enter executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel. That's correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Have a motion?
Make a motion?
John made a motion, second.
Second.
Valerie seconded, discussion? No discussion, we'll vote, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, carried.
Okay,
7:55, how's that? Okay. Very good.